Hello, I'm Dr. Leon Stutzman, aka Doc, with another one of my little videos designed to help you to get through these strange days in which we find ourselves, and these are strange days indeed. This week we're going to take a little trip, an automobile trip. I've always loved cars, and I've had to flex my faith more than once to get the car that I wanted, and that's what we're talking about, flexing your faith. It was a 1967 International Travelall Deluxe. I still have the picture in my office on the shelf, and I'll tell you why at the end of this video. 1967 International Travelall. I wanted it. I needed it. In my mind, I knew that I needed it. We were going to be married. We were going to be traveling the nation. We were going to pull a travel trailer because that's what young evangelists did back in that day. And I needed something to pull that travel trailer with, and so I needed a 1967 International Travelall Deluxe. Now, I don't know why I settled on the year 1967, but in my mind, I could see it. I was down praying one day, and I heard a voice say, "Order it the way you want it." Now, keep in mind, this was going to be a used car. Order it the way you want it. So I went down the list. I wanted power steering, power brakes, automatic transmission. I wanted air conditioning. And after I ordered my car mentally, spiritually, in prayer, I went off and did whatever I was doing that day. The next day I was back in prayer, and I could visualize that car. I could see it just as I had ordered it. And then I heard a voice say, "Seek and you shall find." Well, that set me off. I called up my soon-to-be wife and asked her if she would ask her mother to take me around to the international lots in Dallas to find my car. We went to the first lot on Irving Boulevard, and I have to say my mother-in-law was very accommodating and helping me in following my faith. We went to the international lot in Irving, and it wasn't there. So we drove downtown Dallas, and the lot downtown Dallas didn't have my car. And I said to Dorothy, I said, well, it's got to be across town in Garland because that's the last lot they have. So we got back in the car and drove all the way across Dallas to Garland, got to the international lot there, and believe it or not, it was closed. But that did not deter a 19-year-old preacher who was determined in his heart that there was a 1967 International Travelall manifesting somewhere. So I climbed the fence, walked around the side of the building, and there it was. It was brown. It had a white top. It had a 304 cubic inch V8 engine, power steering, power brakes, automatic transmission, dual gas tanks, and it even had a little electric window in the back that went up and down from a switch underneath the dashboard. Of course, the lot was closed. I didn't find out all that information until the next day when I went back and I said, I want to buy that car. They said, well, we just took it in on trade. We'll give it to you wholesale. And that afternoon, I drove off in a 1967 International Travelall. Now, what are we learning from this story? And why do I have that picture on my shelf? Well, the first thing we learn is you have to focus your faith. You have to be specific. If you're going to flex your faith, you have to be specific on what you actually are trying to accomplish, what you really want. I wanted a 1967 International Travelall. I ordered it just as I wanted it to be. You have to be specific. And secondly, you need to listen. You may not hear that still small voice. You probably won't hear an audible voice, but you will have some kind of indication as to the direction in which you should go in order to see the thing that you desire manifest in your life. So you need to listen. And then I might suggest you need to fill your life with people that are going to stand with you in faith, because you need people to stand with you in faith. Now, here's the other thing that I learned and why I keep that picture. I loved that car. I loved that car for 3 weeks. And after 3 weeks, I realized what a miserable car it was. And wondered why I had wanted it in the first place. And it took me 6 months to get rid of that car. I learned a few things out of that lesson, but that's what faith is. Faith is a journey. Faith is a series of lessons that you learn, and the more lessons you learn, the easier it is to operate in faith. Next video, I'm going to talk about the first Cadillac. I have had a lot of Cadillacs since then, but none like the first one. I'll share some more. And at the end of the week, the Rolls Royce that I drove for a couple of years. Just to aggravate the religious people. I'm Dr. Leon Stutzman. I'm so glad you've joined me on this video. As indicated, there'll be a new video on Wednesday. There'll be a new video on Friday. And of course, Sunday at Aspire Church, I'm starting the series of messages, Flex Your Faith, because you need, in these days, these strange days in which we find ourselves, you need to flex your faith. You can catch it at aspirechurch.tv on the live stream, or Facebook at Aspire Church TV Sunday morning at 10 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time. It's going to be powerful. I'm Dr. Leon Stutzman. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you again on these little videos designed to help you to get through these strange days in which we find ourselves.